私さくらんぼ
So, as you might have picked up on, the last few months have been kind of rocky for me. I think I've shared enough details, but let's just say I had a blip in my mental health. Yet, after countless nights of pondering what was good about my life, I finally realised the two things that make my brainwaves bounce endlessly: being creative and having friends that genuinely care. You might be wondering how I got this far without those things, and the truth is, I've rarely stopped being a hard-working visionary in some capacity. But my friends didn't actually understand what was going on with me, nor did they make the effort to try to learn. At least that's what I'm thinking, because I lost so many of them to a condition I have very little control over. But where they failed, a group of Japanese anime and gaming inspired YouTubers reached out to help me in my most struggling of times. They resonated with my story, and in exchange for agreeing to help them out by promoting their channel, they have provided me the theme song for my new channel. Yes, yet another venture by Russ again. Although actually this is more a revival with a different direction than a completely new concept. I've linked it once more in the description if you haven't somehow seen it. To be fair, you now have something to actually watch rather than some vague idea. Anyway, this video isn't really about my comeback in anime travel. It is about a group of extremely talented and open-minded Japanese YouTubers called Black13, spelt like how you see on screen. If you would show some courtesy and realise it could have been possibly another 6 months of inactivity, possibly never coming back without their help, please go and subscribe. I know the majority of my subscribers are inactive, but I know some of you genuinely do listen to me, so if you could just do this one thing, even if it's for their cover songs alone. I have a fair amount of experience yapping on the internet, and occasionally making a banger of a video. That's kind of similar to them, you see. They predominantly play games like Call of Duty, but also have certain individuals that work on other creative endeavours, like music covers. That's the case for the one you'll have heard in the opening and ending of this video. Fun fact, that was actually made for me in exchange for this video you are watching right now. Now you might be thinking, well okay, they saved your channel, but isn't your life going a bit too far? No, not at all. I'm someone who has always worked hard for my friends. I've gone above and beyond to help them produce content, promote them, and so on. In return, all I asked was they'd think of me as their equal. They never saw it that way, but I haven't even spoken to any member of Black13, and they were willing to produce such a high quality piece of music for me with no charge for a commission. That is partly because I didn't get exclusive rights to the song, but also because they saw a spark in my eyes. A passion from an unwell British person who absolutely loves Japan and their culture. On that end, they were willing to offer something very generous. That right there really shows the difference in perspective between the Japanese and people in the West. Japanese people are known for working hard, but their genuineness is something that often gets pulled into question. It is true that they are under a lot of stress, but regardless, they take their personal life just as importantly as getting to the office on time each day. They even took on board what I sent them directly and agreed on the perfect song that might not have been exactly what they would have typically produced. Do you know much about the character Eiko Tsukimi? She is the main character in Parapikome, someone who also goes through a lot of trouble and questions their own value in life. But she is one of the most bubbly and talented individuals you could possibly have the pleasure of knowing. When she meets the reincarnation of Kong Ming and finds her voice again, all her doubts are left behind and she is able to shine brightly again. She loves music, so do I. I realised I probably shouldn't sing, but create content in a different way. That's Quictaku and Anime Tourist. These are the projects I want to put all of my creative horsepower behind. Why? Well, I've been inspired by Japanese work ethic. Actually, it's just how successful people think in general. I watched a short from a business specialist and he really had a good point. If I wrote you a cheque for £100 million and hid it somewhere in the capital city of London, you would do your best to try and find it within 72 hours. Even if you normally wouldn't take the 10-hour flight to my glorious home, I'll take a guess that you'd be willing to come on that occasion, especially if I gave you some hints. That's the thing, when a reward you value is being offered, you will work to no end to attain it, if you have the capacity to chase it. You would loan money or try to go to the national news or something. My point is, no matter how challenging, if something is equally as interesting on offer, you'll at the very least give it a shot. I think that is how I felt when I contacted Black13. Never in a million years did I think they'd be willing to work with me, especially after some of the things I was tweeting in April. Although I did delete them, the fact that I was in a troubled state makes me wonder what they saw in me. But now I realise what it was. My social reach, kind of. Not just in a content creation sense, but my own personality, and commitment to those I make promises to under normal circumstances. I'm not saying I've kept all my promises. If you're a fan of this channel, you'll know that's a lie. But I really only tend to do it, or tend to back out of a promise if it's absolutely necessary. That about does it for this video. Please consider checking them out, and hopefully subscribing to my new channel if you see some value in seeing the real world and anime in a connected way. Also, let's just keep the outro mantra, shall we? I've been Russ, and have a great night or day. ひどいこともされたし、ひどいことも言ったし